Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in. I hope all of you are doing well. Questions dialog box. Nobody's responding. Okay, great, great. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Ghulam Fareed. I'm doing very well as well. How are the spirits today? Preparation for the presentation. How are the spirits? Hi, excellent. Okay, excellent. That's good to know. That's good to know. Okay. Others? Amjad Zamir. All right, thank you. Doing very well. I hope you're doing as good as well. Muhammad Ali Khan. Hi, how are you? So presentations are all decked up, right? Yeah. Brainstorming experience. Okay. All right. I think it was an excellent case study, strategy wise. Um, you get to know about a world-class organization. How do they operate? How do they do their strategy setting? How do they explore entering into markets? I would urge all of you to read the other case study as well. I was having a session with the future members yesterday, and this case study about Netflix, and I think exemplary case studies, very interesting elements that I would want to mention, and I would read from the case study. Just give me a second. That's the case study, and so what I've underlined here is the culture at Netflix. We're talking about how do organizations like Netflix value talent. So uh, Hastings, who's the chief executive and founder of Netflix, the organization was founded back in 1997. Um, Hastings said that keeping mediocre performers demotivates leaders, keeps them from cultivating their star performers, lowers the quality of group discussion and decision making, reduces efficiency, causes top performers to quit. And the last sentence is very important, and signals that mediocrity is acceptable in the organization. So Netflix has a culture that they would only retain their star performers, and about 12% people every year will be siphoned out, right? Because they were mediocre people. They would only cultivate, they would only hire or evaluate whether whether people are really performing as star performers. They would only evaluate that on an annual basis, keep the star performers, and just because they wanted a culture, a good culture in place. um, Sorry about this. Feroz, I think there are some individuals who joined the unmoderated session in Teams. So if you can please go there and bring them all in here. I think they haven't
Yes,
read the announcement. Okay, thank you. I'll speak with you. All right. So that's how organizations. That's as much importance organizations place uh, around or on what kind of talent do they have in the organization. This is simply a reflection of the fact that in your organizations, when you look at your work, you should classify yourself as a star performer, not a mediocre performer. I mean, we're not talking about people who are not performing, who are non performers. We're talking about mediocrity. So, people who are mediocre in their performance, they don't stand a chance to grow in the organization. They don't stand a chance to remain in the organization. We're talking about good organization. So that's how important this factor is. Assess your performance, assess your own performance, right? Find out if this is the best you could do in your organizations, and do better than that. Yeah. and that is how you continue to grow in your professional life. So interesting case study, and I would want all of you to go through it as well. Tesla is also a very interesting case, and therefore I would want you to go through it in detail as well. So those of you who are looking at the Netflix case study, this is available. Excuse me. It's available as a handout in this session. So if you go to the handouts, there are two case studies available. There is one for Netflix. Open it up. Study it in your free time. But for today, we are ready to go ahead with Tesla. Now, there are 37 individuals here today. I have been told in the questions dialog box that groups are also ready with all their participants and their presentations. Okay, so remember, this is the competition. You are being rated, and the best presenters, the best performers the entire team is going to get gifts and prizes. Sorry, prizes rather. They're going to get prizes from us, from ACCA. I hope those of you who made calculators, the tax calculators, they have received. I'm sorry about people in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. They're going to get their awards soon. But I'm talking about the members in Pakistan. Have all of you got your gifts from ACCA? Those who have made the tax calculators. Shakil hasn't received it. Feroz, if you're in the call, can you confirm what stage are we on? I think they've been dispatched day before yesterday.
Yeah, it was dispatched, and I did receive couple of calls for address confirmation. It was Zara Aziz, Hafiz Ali Bilal. Yeah, both of them, their addresses weren't clear, so I did receive a
Oh,
call. I think they might have received it, but I'll check with the
no,
courier
but
company as well.
Zara and Hafiz Bilal are the ones
Yeah,
who
they have
were
written
sent.
they haven't received them. I'll check with the courier company.
Please do. All right. So please be assured that the gifts have been sent out by us. If you're not receiving it, um, you can ask Feroz, and we can check with the courier company. So, Quab, what were those gifts? We will wait for the winners to receive those gifts and then reflect back. But these presentations, like I said before, this is a competition, okay? And the best presenters will then go on to present in front of a bigger delegation, right? The best secrecy? No, not secret. Surprise. Yeah. So the best presenters, we're going to make a group from members and a group from future members, and we're going to ask them to present on this. So this is just going to be an opportunity for you to to be prepared with your presentations and do a good job with those. Okay, so which group is going to go first? I'm looking at the questions dialog box. Whoever is ready, please type the name of the group who wants to go first, and then I'll ask for the name of the members also. And Feroz is going to make all of them presenters. All right, Ghulam Fareed says ACCA stars. So Ghulam Fareed was the first one. Ghulam Fareed, can you please mention the names of the group members? Feroz, are you ready with promoting these two presenters,
Yeah,
panelists?
Farid, can you ask your teammates to raise their hands?
Raise hands or just type their names in the. Yeah, he's typed the names. So it's Homa, it's Muhammad Riafat, Ghulam Fareed, three individuals. Others, Shakil Ali, okay, Moeed. So Feroz, you've got the names, okay? And Usman. Problem? Muhammad Ali Khan, what's the problem? Faizan Ahmad as well, Ghulam Fareed. So ACCA stars, star performers. All right. Ghulam Fareed, are you the one with the presentation? Ghulam Fareed, you have the right to unmute the mic now. So are you the presenter or is Shakil Ali the presenter?
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Because I'm unable to hear Harun sir.
Yes, you're audible. Can you hear me? Wait a second. Yes, I think my microphone is working. Ghulam Fareed, can you hear me?
I think it's
I think Sajjad.
Ghulam Farid. The problem at Ghulam Farid's end because I can hear you as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Other group members, Shakil, Riafat, Huma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Riafat is
Okay.
there.
So Ghulam Fareed, if you can
Because before I
please
was able to
quickly
hear
join.
Harun sir, as I am sharing my screen now, but I'm unable to hear anything from Harun sir or Feroz.
No, we can't even see his screen. Let me switch off my camera. So the remaining group members, who has the presentation, the final presentation ready? Can somebody ask Ghulam Fareed, send a message to him to sign in again? Feroz, I need a little help here.
Yes, sir.
Feroz, Ghulam Fareed is not able to hear me. Can you please ask him to sign in again somehow?
Yes.
Yes, he's gone.
Yes, yes.
And
I'm
the
on it.
remaining group members find out who has the presentation. Other people who are listening, I think this should be clockwork. So if you're all prepared and if you're all set to make the presentation, you should very quickly mention the name of the person who's to be made the presenter. So that person will share the screen and the remaining people will be panelists and they will do the presentation. So please keep that order ready. Keep those, keep the group names ready. And if it's taking too long for a group to get in order, that's also a negative sign. I'm not going to penalize anyone today, but this uh, you know readiness to be in action also matters. So I think Ghulam Fareed is now in. I'm going to switch off my camera. Ghulam Fareed and whoever is
I'm
speaking
audible
should switch
now,
on their
but
camera
I
as
don't
well.
know. Still, I'm unable to hear Harun sir and Feroz. But I just want to confirm Huma and Muhammad Riafat, Shakil, and all of our group members are there with us because I'm unable to hear anyone.
Feroz, Ghulam Fareed had mentioned a few other names. So, for example, I don't see Mueed, I don't
Uh,
see Usman.
People are saying they are able
Yeah,
to
we
hear
can
me,
hear
but I
you.
am unable to
So
hear Harun sir and Feroz sir and any other person if he is speaking.
Ghulam Fareed has to check his headphones.
Ghulam Fareed, can you hear me now?
We can hear Shakil as well.
It's something wrong with
Riafat.
Ghulam Fareed's own
Because
headphones.
before presenting our screen, yes, hello.
Ghulam Fareed, try to change your voice setting from change another device you have, microphone.
Ghulam Fareed, it's the headphone that is not working, the headphones. Okay, guys, last few minutes, after which, if you're not beginning, we'll have to give a chance to some other group. Feroz, are you able to hear me? Feroz.
I'm just trying to get Ghulam Farid on the line. I think he might be using a Bluetooth headset.
जी जी मैं ब्लूटूथ यूज कर रहा हूँ लेकिन ये है कि मैं पहले लेकिन बस ओके जस्ट 1 सेकंड आई गॉट इट मैं अभी कर रहा हूँ ओके
Can you hear me now?
all right I can hear now I don't know I can hear
Yeah,
now
that was your Bluetooth headset. Now you can continue. Just tell me which group members are not uh, presenters, so I'll make them as well.
we have Huma and Riafat
Guys, Bluetooth headphones don't work with GoToWebinar. You have to have a wired headphone. So keep your
but
headphones handy. We don't want to
uh,
waste too much time on this, please.
yeah, actually, it's just not working when I'm having a presentation like organizer mode. But before, I'm using this one before start. I'm using it's working for me like in our regular sessions. But I think when I go to the screen, maybe now it's not
Yeah.
working for me.
No, it doesn't work. I mean, Bluetooth headphones, they don't work. Anyway, so who's going to start first? Ghulam Farid.
I'm gonna start first, and meanwhile, I think our all people's group members are there, and so I'm
So
gonna start.
have you worked out the order in which they're going to come in?
Yes, we know
I,
our order how we gonna come.
I only have 4 participants as presenters, only 4. We don't have
Yes.
Usman, we don't have, is that okay?
Yeah, is that okay? Yes.
All right, okay, over to you. I'm switching off my camera. Please, Ghulam Farid, switch on your camera. Whoever presents switches on the camera, okay?
Okay, I'm switching on.
All right, here you go.
Okay, so my screen is clear to everyone.
Yes, it is. Please go on.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ghulam Farid with my fellow ACCA member from ACCA Star Group, and we all are thank you for giving us an opportunity to present our case study. Before we move forward, I really want to ask a question to all of you. Please raise your hand if you ever have think about climate change, if you are concerned about renewable resources of energy, and if you are concerned about environment protection, and if you are experiencing technological advancement like artificial intelligence, robotics, and special technological softwares, especially in vehicles. If your answer is yes, so we are gonna share with you some facts that these factors, especially technological advancement and climate change, has disrupted automotive industry, especially in US as well. That is why we are going to present you Tesla entry into US auto industry. And it is Tesla missions, they want to accelerate the world to sustainable energy. And we are going to discuss the automotive industry analysis in US, and then Tesla's strategic fit and strategic evaluation. And first of all, I'm going to discuss with you the complex industry structure during this transition. And if I talk about the main trigger, the main factors for this EV adoption and this disruption in the US market is the climate change, and a larger number of peoples are moving to the cities. And there is a change in the industry due to technological advancement, like I already mentioned, like robotics, special software solutions for the vehicles, advanced level navigators, and a lot of things are causing these adoption. And there is a survey that by 2025, about 60% of new vehicles in the US will be like electric vehicles, hybrids, and fuel cell cars. And if I talk about the key major players in the US auto industry, which having a 46% market share, and which is led by GM Motors, which are having 17.9% share, and then Ford with a 14.7%, and the Chrysler with 12.9%. And these all are the US based manufacturer. And then we have Toyota with like a non-US based manufacturer. They have a percentage of share like 13.5%. And the meanwhile, Tesla holding 0.2% market share. And as we all know, for any adoption in any industry, government support is really matters a lot. So here, government also subsidizing the peoples. They are giving a tax credit of $7,500, which makes it economical and viable for both for the buyers and also for the manufacturer for the adoption of EV vehicles. And there are different states in US which are also giving additional tax credit and rebates other than the federal government tax credit. And I also bring into your attention that there is a survey that held with over 2,000 car buyers aged between 18 years till 64 years. It is found that safety, fuel efficiency, and high quality are the major factor while they are buying the cars, while prices and the brands were the least important factor. Over to you, Riafat. Please unmute yourself.
I must also remind you that we have to keep the time in mind as well. 10 minutes for the presentation, please. So, Feroz, I hope you're timing the group members.
Over to you, Riafat.
I see Riafat all of a sudden lost his audio connectivity.
All right, and next we have the Porter 5 forces. We are going to see the industry analysis. Like we all know, the barrier to entries were higher because anyone who is going to enter this market, they need a lot of brand loyalty. They have to build a lot of manufacturing capabilities and factories and dealership network. And meanwhile, we have seen the bargaining power of suppliers like around the globe. There are around 11,000 suppliers which are providing different components to these manufacturers. And meanwhile, we also have seen there is a sustainable competitive advantage. Anyone who is going to have innovation and special technology-led softwares, they're really going to compete the market. And the rivalry is higher because there are different key players available which are having these EVs models. And then we also have seen the bargaining power of customers on the basis of loyalty. We have seen the customer has less loyalty as when they're going to have a second vehicle, they see like other brands, they do not go for the same brands, except for the Toyota luxury brands. Mostly customers are loyal with them. So, and the threat for the substitutes are not as much because these EV electric vehicles, there are not as such alternates and substitutes right now available. So that's not so higher. So over to you, Huma.
Thank you, Ghulam Farid. Let's see the fit between Tesla's strategy and structural attributes of automotive industry. Elon Musk knows how to encash market trends and he can feel the pulse of his customers. That is why Tesla's mission statement is in accordance with the slogan of Go Green. Tesla also employs Tesla Rangers, mobile technicians to make house calls and upgrade software remotely. That is the today's customer most preferable desire, to get service at the doorstep of their home. Customer preferences change with the technological advancement. They want fully connected cars. Tesla introduced its lowest price model S at the cost of $27,500, having better features as compared to competitors GM Motors, Nissan. The demand for small cars is also expected to increase by 2023. Tesla sensed all these factors and targeted the mass market. Tesla has the strategy to have an autonomous car. Uber and Waymo were also testing their self-driving technology. The fatalities and injuries would be more highlighted if Tesla would be doing it alone. Most of the things were in favor of Tesla, except dealers who tried to keep the customers away from the Tesla. How well Tesla is executing its strategy. Tesla simplified the sale process by using online medium. This avoided the cost of commission to dealers associated with the traditional sale process. A survey of 100,000 car consumers resulted that 75% would consider buying their cars online. Vertical integration enabled Tesla to add exclusiveness to the brand and reduce the cost. Tesla owned and operated over 1,300 charging stations and nearly 11,000 superchargers, exclusively for drivers of Tesla vehicles to recharge their batteries when on the road. The strategy of Tesla to enter the market at high end was good because they were coming with the new and high end customers can pay the premium associated with the new technology introduction. Well, the gray areas of the Tesla strategy. There were feasibility issues associated with the Tesla strategy. They were unable to project the investment properly. Key employee retention failure, which could lead a benefit to competitors if they hire them. There were production pauses due to the bottlenecks with over 1,000 boards in highly automated factory. There were issues with the quality of components, and one Tesla engineer estimated that 40% of parts made or received at the Fremont plant required rework. Approach should be to get the production process right first, then bring in the boards. And that brings us to the end. I would like to thank you for your time and attention today. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions? Anybody want to ask questions? And then I'll give my assessment. I'm looking at the questions dialog box. Yes, Quab's question is, what is the conclusion? So who will want to answer this?
Obviously, the key to success, as we all know, the main advantage Tesla has, they has the super technology software, and they have the ability to upgrade it on weekly basis. They have this hardware, and they are continuously upgrading, which is very unique factor. All other key players right now, they don't have it. And other than also the key players are going for outsourcing, but Tesla has in-housing assembly facilities available, and they are investing a lot for having a super charging stations as well. So it's good for them, and so they have to keep continue and continually they have to innovate. That is the key to success to them.
Okay. So if I may ask about your evaluation on, do you think the company's strategy was being executed well? That was one of the learning objectives. Can you reflect a bit on that?
I
Uma, you wanna
think
respond?
they executed the, yeah, I'm going to answer. I think they executed their strategy very well because they didn't follow the tradition as the other competitors were entering at the low end, but they targeted the high end customers. So they were executing their and when they vertically integrated, this also reduced their cost over the period of time. So company was ultimately following their strategy, but there were bottlenecks with about the feasibility of investments and these kind of issues. They resolved in the end as well.
Hmm. But you have indicated or pointed out some gray areas in Tesla's
Yeah.
strategy. Yep. So, in your assessment, the strategy was not black and white. There were gray areas. Yeah. And you said there was, for
Obviously,
example,
every
you've
person,
mentioned.
sorry,
So,
yeah,
how would you consider
each
this
company learn
a
from
good
their experiences.
strategy?
But there
I
were
want
a
to add
lot of
something.
good things in their strategy, and then yeah.
Uh, Very good, pertinent question from Mr. Harun. Actually, wanted to add something. Every business and every organization, when going to implement a strategy, they face both strengths and weaknesses. Talking about the strength they worked on and they captured the market very well. They focused on the customer segments and they provided the value propositions. Even talking about the key resources, they retained them. They built their in-house production capacities. They produced and they innovated it, even batteries. This was the thing which gave them the actually edge to come in the market and attract the market and get the maximum share of the market. Talking about this and comparing this, everyone has some failures and loopholes. We have just mentioned that, and with the passage of time, the company have worked on them also, and they are working. This is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
All right. So, thank you, Shakil. In my opinion, you in your slides have very appropriately mentioned gray areas, which were major flaws in the strategy, in this implementation of Tesla. I think even while presenting, you should very clearly spell them out that had these loopholes been fixed, Tesla would not have had the initial teething problems. As a result, the number of withdrawals, 25% withdrawals of their pre-bookings, they would not have faced it. Um, uh, Excessive automation was an issue. The quality of components was initially an issue, due to which they thought about vertical integration. All these were, lags or slip-offs in the strategy implementation of Tesla. Do you agree with that?
Yes, actually, these were covered by them. They came forward and they all resolved these. They covered up those issues and they worked on that. That's why these were covered and they did not impact the results of the company. We at the end we are talking about the results, how they have loopholes. We have mentioned that these were these, but those which were covered and they which were addressed at the time, which was even not discussed in this strategy. But talking about end results, we see that they have interrupt the market and they become successful. So these were not the problem for them to capture the market.
Hmm. Okay. So what you're trying to say, Shakil, is that they faced these issues, but they were responsive, and as a result, they did not let the entire game slip out of their hands. They were still able to make a reasonable profit. Yeah, is that what you mean?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. You
Okay.
talked about
There are a couple of other questions. Let let's give an opportunity to other group members. And group members, this is your opportunity to grill the group sitting in front. So, who do we have? All right, let's put up this question that Mohammed Suleiman Seemab has asked, and then I'll go back to Coab's question again. Does Tesla's mission relate to the auto industry, or it's venturing to energy business? Um, I mean, sustainable energy business.
Actually,
Somebody would want to reflect on that?
the main driving trigger is behind them is climate change, and they are concerned about the renewable energy resources, which is also causes a trigger for the EVs innovation and adoption in the market. So that is the main key idea behind overall these EVs vehicles, and also the technological advancements are there. So yes, of course, they are focusing auto industries behind looking at the environment, go green plus technological advancement. They are addressing both things.
Okay. Okay, all right. I think there are no further questions. So we will stop here. Um, for Feroz, thank you very much, gentlemen. Good presentation. My own observation. Number one, my observation was that I could still see a lot of text on the slides. Right. The positives, first of all. I think you've done a reasonably good assessment of Tesla's overall case study. You've got a good assessment on their strategy. You could have spelled it out even more uh, even more loudly. So, for example, a very clear opinion of the fact that was the strategy right or not? Was the strategy implemented properly or not? So I feel that had you very clearly spelled these out, I mean, your expert opinion would have been much more clearer. You put a lot of material on the web, in the presentation, on the slides, and in particular in case of Huma, I noticed that Huma was doing screen reading, which is not advisable. So, for example, if I were to write the same slide, what would I write in place of point number one? I would simply say um, uh, unable to project the investments properly. That's all. The first point. Point number two, um, employee retention failure. That's all, not the complete sentence. Point number three, production pauses. Yeah, colon, over 1,000 robots in a highly automated factory. That's enough. Does it not give the message? Yep. Number four, um, you've got a full sentence written here. There were issues with the quality of components, and one Tesla's engineer estimated that 40% of the parts. You can have this written in your handouts. You can read from your handouts, but don't read from the screen. The screen should say just one part of the problem. I mean, just the main element. Issues with the quality of components. Full stop. That's all. This should remind you, what are you reading? And this should tell the participants that this was a gray area in Tesla's strategy. Okay, so my advice: do not write full sentences. I learned it the hard way as well. I can tell you, when I was young, your age, I used to do the same thing. And I was once called in by the Chief Minister of Punjab, and I was working with the Punjab Small Industries Corporation as an advisor. And I was working with top-notch bankers, and we were converting the Punjab Small Industries Corporation into an organization which would give out loans to artisans and people with startup ideas. So, I had done the same thing. I had written long stories. And when we sat down as a group with a lot of bankers, with a lot of professionals, I mean, that's the first thing that they took out from my presentation. They said, we don't want to read from the slides. We don't want very long, texty sentences. We would want to just get a hint of what we have to speak, and then we'll preferably come out on our own and talk about it, or otherwise read it from a piece of paper where we have the handouts indicators written, right? And even over there, you don't need to have the complete sentences written. It should not be that you should hold a piece of paper and read line by line or word by word. You should just get an indication of what it was. You've read the case study. You've read the case study very well. You've been able to answer the questions very well, which means you've read it very well. Yeah, you should be able to respond out of your knowledge. Yeah? Shakil, I think, for example, in the end, Ghulam Farid in the end, Huma again in the end, when I was asking questions, you were giving prompt answers, which sort of reflected to me that you have prepared well. It's just about that presentation that should have, been a bit more sharper. Yeah. So very well done. Excellent. An applause for all of you. Good
Thank you,
work.
sir.
Thank you so much,
I
Arun
want to
sir.
encourage all of you. Yes, encourage all of you. Very well done. Okay. So just a bit of more effort in making your presentation a bit more sharp, crisp, right? Well delivered. That will definitely take you to the next level. Okay. In a board presentation, imagine if you're doing a and in fact, you might get an opportunity to make this presentation to a director from ACCA head office and a group of market heads from different markets. You might be making this presentation to them. I might be inviting a director of Americas and Europe to come in and listen to your presentation on Tesla. This is about their market. I might be inviting her over, to listen to this presentation. So you should be very, very crisp. So just a bit of improvement there, and inshallah, you should be spot on. Thank you very much. That was my opinion. I hope this was
Thank
all
you so
taken
much.
positively.
Thank you, sir. We feel revered.
For your
We
valuable
feel
feedback,
revered.
sir. It's really value for us, and inshallah we will work on it. And yes, I can really agree with you. We can just go for rather having a longer sentence. We can just go for a one line. So it's a good opinion. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so next group, Feroz, if you can dismiss this group and bring in the next one. I am going back to the chat, the questions dialog box. Looking at, all right, so Ariful Islam has suggested that you want to go in. Sikau is the group. Ariful Islam, can you please type down the names of participants of the group members? And Feroz, while you organize them, please stay unmuted. Organize the group members, and in the meanwhile, I'll do the ranking for ACCA stars. So Feroz, I'm handing over to you. Very quickly dismiss this group and bring the next one in, please.
Sure.
Hi everyone. Do I have to show my screen? I don't. Uh, Hi, can you hear me?
Feroz, please unmute. Speak. Yes,
Arif,
we can hear
can
you.
you hear me? I think Arif is also using a Bluetooth headset.
Hi, let me put down the group member's name quickly. Oops.
Arif, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you listen to me?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Just type in the group members' names.
Yes. Give me a second. I'm more used to with Microsoft Teams. So here is the chat box. Yeah. So Salam.
Sorry, do I need to intervene? What's wrong? What's happening? Arif, just
I'm just waiting for Arif to write down the group member's name. Arif, you can.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just
you
give
can
me
do that as well.
Arsalan Munib Ahmed.
I'm sure all the group members know who they are. Just should raise hands. They should be quicker. Hurry up, please. There we go. You have the hands raised. Sajjad Sheikh, I think, is a group member.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Feroz, pick up Sajjad, pick up Uzair, Siddiqui. Other group members,
Yeah.
please raise hand. Sikau, hurry up.
I think I have put all 7 members' name here, though I cannot see it, but I think you have got 3, 4, 5, 6, and I
Kamran.
myself, including myself, there should be 6 persons.
Munib Tihami has raised hand. Sajjad Ahmed done. Kamran Aslam, Uzair Siddiqui, Munib, Wasif Islam. All men. No diversity?
Yeah, sometimes technology, you technology shows no compassion to us.
All right. Well said.
Yeah.
Technology.
So first of all,
Technological.
let
That was
me
meant
start
by
with an
Harun sir
apology.
or Feroz
We are
sir.
not fully prepared team, though we had chance to discuss in a group. But unfortunately, pretty much all of our active members became sick in last couple of days. I am already COVID positive, uh,
Oh,
but I have joined the last 2 session. But so yeah, so due to a lot of sickness, I think.
Just to inform, the technology didn't work very well with us, and 4 of our members were very sick. One was COVID positive, and one got a booster shot, so he was recovering. Another 2
All
were
right.
under the weather, and we
okay. All
didn't
right.
got
All right.
connected with team members. So here we are.
Let's begin. All right. So let me just very clearly spell out the group rules. Number one, anybody who's not speaking should keep the mic muted. Otherwise, we will not be able to hear anyone. So just like Arif Islam was trying to speak, but I couldn't hear him because there were other people unmuted as well. So those who are not speaking, and just as I get off from speaking, I'll mute myself as well. So that should be the protocol. One who speaks leaves the camera and the mic on. The one who's off should switch it off, and the next one should come in. Okay. The time by my watch is say about 7. Bangladesh would be 8. So you got 10 minutes. Your time starts now.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So here we're going to actually do a deep analysis of the competitive business environment, and we're going to see how the strategy of Tesla fits within that environment. We will also examine how Tesla have been successful in terms of executing its strategy. I have got my three I have got 2 of my presenters with me, who are Uzair and Sajjad. They will also support me in the presentation. So I have got the learning objective, but I'm not going very deep in it. So first of all, we'd like to start with the Tesla's amazing business growth over last couple of years. Especially, it is now it's world's third most valuable and the most valuable automobile company, having a market cap of 1 trillion US dollar as of January 22. It has only a market share of 1.2% in terms of production volume of the overall car industry. So it has got like 900,000 vehicles produced in compared to 75 million vehicles it produced over in last year in the year 2021. So obviously we can see that it's a highly valued company based on its future strategies, but in the current market, in the volume, it is not a big company in terms of market share. So to test the whole industry, we will be using Porter's 5 forces, and it starts with the competitiveness in the industry. So first of all, when we studied the competition in the existing market, we have seen that it's highly competitive, though there is a very low market growth here. In the first graph, you will see basically there's very little growth, which means existing competitors are fighting with the same customers, which means the rivalry is intense. And in this intense rivalry, there are only three major players, having GM, Ford, Chrysler, having about 45% of the market share, whereas Tesla has almost nothing in the year 2018. In the same year, if we check the sales from the data given in the information pack, you will see that again Tesla made very little sale in compared to other three major players, which give a rise whether is Tesla is a big player in the market. The answer is no. But if we see if Tesla is a successful company in the EV market, the answer is yes. They have proved themselves a very competitive advantage in the specific niche market, and they have proved themselves a market leader in this area. So for the rest of the for the rest of the presentation, we will focus more into the into this niche. So in this competitive market, what we have seen that Tesla has shown some great prospect, especially to fit in this competitive market by showing by differentiation in its in marketing mix, by having very unique positioning of pricing strategy, having their online prioritizing their online sales, having very clear about promotion through Facebook medias and other social medias, and having some unique product line which says it's a luxury product, uh, but with a view of price skimming over time, which means they want to sell the product at a low price in future. Besides, they have proved vertical integration is possible, and continuous improvement will lower the unit cost. Besides, their branding image has been made very strong in the social media. Branding image has become very strong. The social media presence is compared to no other brands. Besides, the flamboyant attitude of the CEO made them a very, very special company and very, very unique to others. And on the other hand, their integrated service, the innovation, and the continuous improvement to their technologies made them put them into a very competitive position in the existing business market. I will hand over to Zaid to discuss about the threat to new entrants.
Thank you, Ariful, for giving me the opportunity. I would be presenting the threats of new entry within this case study. The major point was that the barriers to entry were low due to the brand loyalty of Tesla. However, there are threats to new entry because there are different other companies that are offering services and they are in the EV market. And big giants such as Apple and Uber are also trying to enter into this and with their extensive R&D within this field. As we can see that Apple also have a a big brand loyalty within this cell phone market. They will be able to gather several other industries as well. With Uber in the experience of managing online ride and taxi services, it will also impact this the services of or the production of Tesla. On the other hand, if you see that the strategies adopted by Tesla give them the comparative advantage, such as the backward integration and fully automated factories. However, the fully automated factories also gave them a serious competition where they were unable to produce their weekly demands, and they were unable to complete their weekly demands within time. However, they have, being a market leader, they have also gone into the EV, established their own brand loyalty with regular updates in the software integrations within their cars. And manufacturing components of the in-house facilities have made them even more with more quality, or provided them with comparative advantage over the other companies. While going from threat to entries, we will be discussing the other point, that is the bargaining power of the suppliers. However, that we have seen that there were several suppliers within this industry with around 11,000 suppliers in three categories, which provide tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 sectors, and they were facilitating each other in different niches. And Tesla has produced their Gigafactory in US, Asia, and Europe to produce batteries, which are the key components there for their in-house bargaining power with the suppliers. As far we are concerned with their dealer bargaining power with the dealers, that was also a considerable point where the dealer they have a considerable margin with their dealers, and because as per the customers they were reluctant to go with their dealers due to their online sales and negotiating with the dealers. That was also a considerable point within this bargaining section. After that, we will be
So
discussing
the
the
key point is, can I add one or 2 points here? So the key point is here is that basically Tesla was able to understand the challenge with the existing dealers, which is they have got reluctancy to promote EV cars, and they understood that clearly, and they focused more into online sales, and and they also stopped giving any sort of incentive to their sales people, which clearly identifies that they understood that existing in the existing market where 70% of the customers prefers buying cars online after doing a 19 hours on average study, Tesla positioned their this strategy very clearly and very strategically. And on the other side, from the supplier part, they have prioritized in-house production to ensure that their bargaining power of the suppliers becomes low. Recently, they have moved to China to produce another gigafactory, which will give them a competitive edge in the Asia market as well. Can I quickly move to Sajjad to discuss about the bargaining power of customers?
Yes, last minute left, please.
Yep.
Hello, guys.
Anyone? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Okay, let's discuss the bargain power of customers. Here we have seen that there were many options available in the market. So, but for the EV part, when the Tesla entered, there were also some entrants from the Ford and GM also. There was also another car from Nissan, that's Leaf. So here there was, if you look at the loyalty of the customers, customers were very easily can switch between the brands. So there was a low brand loyalty from the customers, especially millennials. Millennials were thinking about miles they can buy, not about the commodity, not about the asset they can buy. So the bargain power of customers were high because the loyalty was low towards the brands. So can you please move to the next slide? Powerful. Hello. The view is presented by me or someone else. Can you please confirm?
Ariful Islam is the presenter. He'll have to move the slides for you.
Okay. Okay. Let's discuss the substitute. So threat of substitute was very high because, as I told you, that there were many options available, and the big brands like Mercedes, BMW had already entered in the market. GM was there, Nissan was there, so they were also producing the EVs. So they got the threat of substitute was very high. And if we talk about the future market, in future, like there were a lot of other options also available of the e-scooter, Then another Chinese company said Li Eco that they were offering their cars free for the customers. They will only charge the customers for the integrated services. So in the future, uh, the price of the cars will go down for the EVs, and the price for the integrated services will be the key competition. Many companies are now investing in the integrated services more because they are more technology oriented. Now let's discuss the execution of Tesla's strategy. So number one thing that the Tesla did was the full automation project. The full automation project of Tesla was good, but it created problems initially because that was a very risky part and at the start, but they got the momentum later on and it got the mixed results. Second thing was about the production of the very large gigafactories and the huge investment in the largest ever factory to produce the batteries and the battery cell. That strategy was very good and that resulted in a very positive manner for Tesla, because as we have seen now, the production price of batteries have come significantly lower, and Tesla has now the significant advantage over its competitors. In the case study we have seen, where Ford was getting the one battery at $146 and Tesla was producing in about $100. So they have the significant advantage in production of batteries. The third part was the price skimming strategy. That was again a very risky strategy, but for the company like Tesla, whose heads were the visionary, and they had they were creating the brand. The brand power was very high, so that will that upset the existing customers, but that was very helpful for future, because with Tesla stands now, as we have seen, its share price, which started in single-digit dollar, is about to touch the four-digit dollars. I guess it's more than $990 right now. So again, this strategy also helped them, because in the starting part, they needed the money, they needed more investments, because yes, there were issues in the cost overruns, as we have seen in the prices. But by the time they increased the production, so more and more customers got the cars, and the Tesla's share price got higher and higher. It's going upward and upward. Last but not the least thing was the vision and the future strategy of Tesla. They were very clear in their vision. They were very ahead of the time, and that resulted their success. Thank you.
Okay, is this the conclusion? You done?
Yes, we are done.
Okay, all right. Um, all right, I didn't get to know of the end, but all right, questions, and this is the time for ACC stars to take a revenge. So I've got the first question from Shakil Ali. Um, Shakil is saying, is a bike substitute of EV cars? What is the take of Tesla on bike production or the substitute of EV cars? Shakil, we can unmute you. Maybe you can ask the question yourself. But in the meanwhile, Firoz, can you please unmute uh, Shakil Ali? In the meanwhile, Suleiman Simab has said that Tesla was lagging behind Nissan, Ford, BMW, and GM in the mass market, in the mass EV market. How can we call it the market leader in EVs? So, group members, would you want to respond? you want to respond to Muhammad Salman Seemab's question. You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, I can I'll answer. I'm answering the Shakil's question about
Can I ask? Can I clear my question, or the question is my question is clear?
your question was how Tesla is responding to the e-scooters, right?
No, no. My question is basically
E-scooters.
actually it was presented that we were discussing about the substitute. It was discussed about the bikes, that there was substitute of like Uber and other bikes, Chinese bikes. So I just wanted to know, is this appropriate to talk about the EV vehicles where Tesla is leading, and we are taking bikes and other scooters as a substitute of Tesla's EV? Is this the point to be
Like, the
justified?
point was all those all were the substitutes, and there was also a concept from the Musk that was in the last part of a case study. The Musk said the autonomous ride-sharing platform. When your car will be not in use, it can be used for other purposes for your friends and family, and you can even rent your car to the other 5 rated stars. So it will also be can be used for the ride hailing services like or yes. So those Uber, Lime, Lyft, scooters, all were the substitutes in Tesla's case, I guess.
Okay, it's amazing to know that scooters are substitutes for the EV vehicles. Thank you, Sajjad.
You're welcome. Any other question? I can't hear you, Arun sir.
Yes, there is a question from Ghulam Farid. Ghulam Farid is saying that feasibility, especially in terms of investment and capital, it was also core as they were unable to address it. You haven't addressed the feasibility against the investment and capital. Hello.
As for the CEO of Tesla, these capital requirements were boring, so that's why we didn't touch that point. Although that was a very difficult, even that was a difficult for CEO of Tesla too. Ariful may add something in this answer. Ariful, can you please further comment on it?
Ghulam, I've unmuted you.
Yes, yes. We all know. Yes, for Elon Musk, it was a boring part, but it is the one of the core major area where they have to see a lot. And in your presentation, it was missing. I was unable to see the feasibility, especially on the basis of investment and capital, because they need a lot of investment in charging stations, and they are continuously like a technology led. They are going for the innovations, robotics, a lot of things. So they really need a lot of capital and projections for these capitals. And because for we know he was always seem it to be like a boring area, but I'm just concerned you have not addressed this area. So if you can respond now, how it should work for them, what you gonna suggest them to Tesla, how they can fix this area?
Feroz, Arif wants to add back in the group so he can respond to this question.
Arif is
I'm
still
on
in
it.
the group.
Who is
Yeah.
gonna respond my
He-
question?
All right, Arif, can you try unmuting yourself? Yes,
Thank
here
you.
you go.
Thank you. I have been typing last 15 minutes, pledging
Oh my
to
God.
get me back here.
All right,
Thank
go
you
on.
so much. It's a very valid question. Whether how the capital investment but we actually technically did not focus into the capital investment because the requirement was not actually the investment appraisal. We are here studying the competitive industry and how the strategy is basically set to fit within the strategy and how well they have done to do that. But obviously, since as we are studying the market itself, we thought in the Porter's five forces model, it will be totally unnecessary to do a feasibility study or investment appraisal here. That is the main purpose. But obviously, if you think about how the financing would be done or was done for Tesla, it was very easy. I mean, if you see couple of slides back, you would see that the social media presence, the flamboyant nature of the CEO Elon Musk always ensured the brand image intact. At the same time, you will also see that after I think failure of 3 times, SpaceX was able to secure a number of $1 billion project from NASA, which also increased the brand value and the credibility of Tesla as well. So basically, since they are sister concern, both of their success actually helped each other. At the same time, they were able to create economics of scale from each other. Like, I mean, I don't know if you know it, but Tesla is going to launch their next truck, and the next truck's body is going to be built with the materials used for the rockets. And you know that amazed a lot of technology lovers, and they have already
Okay.
booked the future car. They have already booked the next future truck because Tesla was not available in the investment. So rightly said by Sajjad that Elon Musk was never afraid about the finance. He always focused on the innovation, seeing the future, and I think leading the future because he did not actually see, he led the future. And every time he was very successful. Uh, he bought PayPal, improved it, and sold it, and he made 156 million like 30 years back. And from that point, he invested in Tesla when Tesla was basically a very small company, and he bought it at a very cheap price. And
But
and and he has
but
his connections of investors who had the trust on him because he has been very successful in his previous ventures. As a venture capitalist, he was always very successful, and it was his nature actually to buy, improve, and sell. But I think somehow he fell in love with these two companies, and then he kept on. He never moved back from these two. Please,
Yeah,
please.
that is why if you have seen, they have a merger with his cousin company for the solar panel as well. So
Yeah.
that would be another way for them for going with the renewable sources of energy, and they also gonna get some capitals and funds and
Yes.
investment
Yes.
from
Yes,
this
and
side as well.
for SpaceX, it was so successful and so different because for SpaceX, they thought about reusing the rockets, which was never thought by any other space research stations, or NASA or any other organizations. So he was very unique. So I think at the same time, he always his unique nature always increased the share price. I don't know if you're seeing my last slide, but if you see the last slide, it shows how the price went up in last 2 years. It just
Okay,
went
I think we can
really
stop
high,
here.
and I think
Yeah.
if you're just give me last 30 seconds. If the share price increases, yes, that means basically sourcing of fund is always secured in that purpose. So by selling shares, some bit like 10% of the shares, they will be able to secure a lot of finance uh, for future developments. I think that is the one of the thing, but the one key thing which I could not write, but I think one thing Tesla need to understand that whether they have how well they are adding value to the society, how their CSR initiatives are, how they are impacting the environment, and how they're impacting. I mean, yes, being a green company, they're helping the environment, but we need to know that we need to see credible steps to understand that they are helping the society in other major concerns. That's all from our
Okay,
side, I
thank you very
guess.
much. Thank you for the group.
Okay.
Yes, thanks a lot. Let me very quickly comment and then we can move on. I think we've taken half an hour for this presentation as well. All right, so just a few key points. I think the storyline of the presentation was better. I saw an improvement. Talking about infographics, yes, the structure of the slides was better, but still using a lot of bullet points, not text, thankfully, but bullet points. Try converting these bullet points into infographics, okay? Infographics. I think Ali Ashraf explained it to you very adequately. Even if the graph you see on the screen, it is just providing me with an information that the market, the share price and the market capitalization went up. There should have been some comment about it. I mean, there should have been something pointing it out that, this is what your observation is. So, Arif al-Islam, you said that in the end, that because the share price had gone up, because the market capitalization had gone up, which means the sourcing of funds was adequately done. So, just a pointer saying that, yeah. So that's, if somebody is just looking at the screen, they should be able to get that impression of what is the purpose of putting that graph up. Okay. But overall, I think once again, some similar observation that you guys have thoroughly read the case study. When you are put into questions, you spring out and you do a fantastic job. I mean, you're able to counter the attack by your opposition sitting in the audience. You're able to counter them very well. Yes. I think just a bit of polishing here, in the content, just a bit of polishing in the selection of the top line information that you must share. I think that will probably place your presentation very right. So on the other side, a few pointers that I noted: time management has to be better, right? Normally in a competition like this, exactly after 10 minutes, your microphones will be switched off. So whatever you've said within the first 10 minutes is what you've said. Number two, questions, if I can have all the questions very, very quickly. We took about 15 minutes in asking questions. We've only dedicated only about 5 minutes for questions. Okay. So, and Arif al-Islam and Sajjad and Uzair were trying to answer the questions. Keep in mind that the drive, the control of questions is also on your end. If you pick up one question and give a very, very long, elaborate answer, you're automatically generating more questions. Okay. If you're pressed by time to give question 5, you need to give very short answers. Okay. And repeatedly say this statement: in the interest of time, this is the answer. We have more details available. In the interest of time, this is what we have to say. And that one sentence should be the capstone sentence, should be, the hard hitting final punch. So, for example, Elon Musk was not concerned about financials, he was concerned about innovation. And that is what have made us think that we should also focus on innovation. Full stop. That's all. Enough answer, isn't it? Right? But if you go into a lot of detail, you're automatically triggering more questions. All right. So that is a lesson that you have to learn. Otherwise, excellent presentation. I'm still worried about one fact that why isn't the entire group presenting? I mean, there were 4 people in the last group, 3 presented. Unfortunately, I'm deducting marks on that. So for groups to follow, please be very careful. We would want more people to speak up, right? So that I'm able to see the presentation skills of the entire group. Okay. I know there are people still sitting in the back. There are only 4 people in the group right now. Try and present Even if you have to say a few sentences, just come onto the screen and say a few sentences. Okay, thank you very much. Second presentation down. Let's go on with the third one. Firoz, if you can do the ritual in the meanwhile. Thank you very much. Clapping for Arif, Arsalan, Sajjad, Uzair. Very well done. Thank you very much. You made me proud. Excellent. Firoz, please do the ritual.
Yes, I'm on it. But any participant who has mentioned to be the next presenter, any
I'm
group?
going to find that out. I'm going to find out. Who's the next group? The next group, are they ready? I'm looking at the questions box. Who's the next group? Who is the next group? There are about 38 participants still there. The next group. Does that mean other groups are not ready with their presentation? Is that what we should take? Sayyida Asif is saying I can present mine, but I'm alone. The group name is Triumph. Okay, Coab is saying Elite Club. We are up, all right. Team Hexacom is also ready. So, Sayyida Asif, I would give you some time to gather your group. Let's hear from Coab's group. Feroz, can you please pick up Coab's group, and then the next one is Aminat Iswa Afif. Okay, these are the two groups ready.
Okay.
Remember time management. Okay, pick them up, put them in the group, ask them to raise hands. And
All of you,
Sayyida
can you
Asif,
raise hand?
okay, I think Feroz surprisingly went quiet all of a sudden. So Coab has said that Rahman will share the screen. Feroz, please bring Rahman in. Aminat, thank you very much. You've done it very well. You've mentioned the names of the group members already. Abdul Rahman is the presenter. Coab, you'll have to change that. Okay, Zara, noted. You'll initiate from Hexacom. Noted. Okay, everyone goes on mute, please. Everyone to go on mute, please. Everyone on mute. Thank you very much. Okay, Abdul Rahman, please make him the presenter. Abdul Rahman, you can unmute your
Hello?
mic.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. You're the presenter. You can share your screen now.
Okay.
Abdul Rahman, I've been told that you have the presentation. Hurry up, guys. Hurry up.
Can
You know how
everybody see my
to...
screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. I'm switching off my camera. The presenters should switch on their camera. And I'm going on mute. The time starts
Assalamualaikum,
now,
guys.
4 past the hour.
Karihal, will you start your presentation?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just
Okay.
change
Good
the
afternoon.
slideshow mode.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am hope I'm audible to everyone out there. So
Hurry up,
we
please.
are okay. So we are the Elite Club, and before we present our presentation regarding the analysis over the Tesla's entry into the automobile industry in US, I would like to provide you a brief introduction about Tesla. As we all know that Tesla was incorporated in July 2003, and while entering to the market, it was already ruled by General Motors, the Ford, and the Chrysler. But later on, despite major hurdles that a company faced, it was able to produce a 1 millionth car in March 2020. And quarter 2021, that is the second quarter, is considered as is considered as the quarter in which company not only produced but also delivered around 200,000 vehicles. Currently, Tesla has a market share of around 2.95% and a market share price of USD 996.27. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Hasib to continue and lead the presentation. Thank you.
Who is managing the
Hello?
slides needs to do a better job, please.
Hasib, can you hear me? Okay, I think Hasib has been disconnected. So the first objective of the presentation was to analyze the structure of automobile industry amidst a major transition. Currently, the automobile industry is congested with the traditional OEMs or traditional car makers that mostly hold the overall share of the market.
Sorry, Abdul Rahman,
In
can
the
I
current
interrupt?
scenario.
My apologies. Can I
Yes,
interrupt?
Harun Jan.
I can see Hasib Azam Memon on the screen. Why is he not speaking? Hasib, can you unmute yourself? Hasib, please unmute yourself. Hasib Azam.
Muted.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
The automobile industry, I'll be explaining. Abdul Rahman, have you presented the automobile industry sections, or I'll have to move on to next slide for more market analysis?
I have entered the automobile section here. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Now next one, move on to Porter 5 forces, so that the market analysis I can briefly.
Yes, please continue.
Based on the market analysis of the Tesla, we have identified through Porter's 5 forces model, we have identified that the threat of the new entrants is very low because of the high research and development cost, high capitalization cost, and high cost of operating the business. Setting up a research and a new plant for the electric vehicles is not that much easy or very much cheap. It requires a higher degree of capital. So since there is a threat of new entrants low, but substitutes is available, as the other companies which are existing already in the market have the higher chance of launching the new products in competition to the Tesla. Because of the few suppliers, the bargaining power of the supplier is very high as compared to other traditional markets, since they can charge the premium prices for being a niche product still in infancy. So based on the bargaining powers of the customers is also high, because they can switch onto the alternative traditional vehicles if they find the electric vehicles too costly or too costly to maintain and operate without any incurring extra costs. They can simply sell their electric vehicles cars and buy the traditional gasoline cars. The competition between the industry is also high due to limited scope of suppliers and producers. There is a tough competition between Tesla and the Chinese. However, in the American market, Tesla dominates, but there is a stiff competition faced by the Chinese manufacturers. So overall, the market analysis, since Tesla is an established brand, so it will dominate the US market in the near future, but in overall world, it is facing a stiff competition. So next will be by the one of other candidates. That was all from my part of explanation.
Thank you, Hasib. Please put yourself back on mute. Who's next? Abdul Rahman, who's the next presenter?
Assalamu alaikum. Abdul Basit, can you please can you please come up?
Yes, I am here. Can anyone am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Abdul Basit. Yes, yes. Please go on.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Abdul Basit, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to explain my my part of this this overall project, Tesla project. My part of this presentation is to assess the fit between Tesla's strategy and automobile industry as a whole. Quality was the priority for Musk, so that's why he always focused on quality. In thereby that he even first for his first Abdurrahman, it's my slide was the previous one.
Okay, let me get back to it.
Yes, this one. So for
Sorry
all
for
the
that,
for all, can I go now?
Yes, sure, please.
Yes. For all the models launched by Tesla since 2003, the quality was the only priority for Musk. That's why for his earlier models like the Model S and the Tesla Roadster, he tried to outsource some parts from other countries like China or Japan, and from other countries like for his car seats or for the material used in the manufacturing. He was not impressed by the quality, so he put all his outsourced material into in-house production in his gigafactory. That is the reason why he was facing so much financial losses. Like if I can share some insight of the financial figures, Tesla was in losses from the inception, like 2017 and 2018. The net profit margin was in negative. In 2017 it was minus 17%, and in 2018 it was gradually improving, but it was still in a negative percentage. It was like minus 5%. So but he kept on his vision and on his strategies, and that took him to into a 1 millionth car sale in 2020. Also in 2020 he got into net profit margin of 2%, and he was profitable from that year. So now I can move this presentation to my next presenter, Mr. Quab, I think.
Assalamu alaikum, Quad. Are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Feroz, can you check?
Yes, I'm here.
And
yes, thank you everybody, and thank you Harun sir for having us. And I'm sure you'll be kind enough to ignore and forgive our a bit of misalignment in the team.
Can we have you on the screen? Why are we still seeing what Hasib? Hasib, please switch off your camera. Let the other person, other team members be the.
I've texted him as well. Oh, thank God. But I think there is some connectivity issues, and finally he's gone. And I'll
And now Coab is gone.
I think they are facing some network issues.
Coab, please, you've gone on mute. Please unmute yourself and let's get
I've,
cracking. Let's get
I've
direct to
just
the presentation.
I've just been made the presenter, so there was no network glitch, but the setting from this webinar.
No, you're not the presenter. Please go on. Ignore the.
Okay, I'm with the PESEL analysis, and I'll get into explaining how the environment is and how the industry structure is with Elon Musk and primarily Tesla. So from the political point of view, we can see that Tesla will be enjoying and was enjoying the environmental and political strength of being good performance company and being environmental friendly. So much on to the next point, as being economical, it is the consumer favorite company. The sale of especially the electrical side of the company, electrical products of the company is seeing a boost. And then being social, the new era, the millennial youngsters, they prefer Tesla, they prefer Elon Musk, they like the strategy. So current till now, and then the technology advancement, we see the SpaceX project, we see Tesla cars. The company is so much into times of current era. The company struggled in the history, no doubt, but it's coming back and moving forward with a boost. And from the ecological point of view and the environmental point of view, being a green support company and being an EV manufacturer, the growth is expected to increase day by day, and we see the results eventually. From the legal point of view, as Elon Musk doesn't pay much insight on the capital, on the numbers, he says it's confusing. So expanding the network and getting into countries, it would be a bit of problematic for the formal viewpoint for Elon Musk, for Tesla, but eventually the company would get on into it. And this is for the second performance objective. And next, I'll invite Rahman Bhai Abdurrahman to continue from here.
Thank you, Cobb, for inviting me, and thank you all of the audience for bearing with us. So let us see how is Tesla performing with its strategy, and is it going successful with that? So as you all know that Elon Musk mentioned in his master plan on which was posted on Tesla's website that Tesla will be entering the market on the higher end because of the higher cost of the technology in the earlier phase of its life cycle. And after that,
Bye,
after
change
entering,
the slide. Sorry to interrupt you, but change the slide as well. I cannot see the next slide. Yeah, thank
sorry.
you.
So where was I? The yes, the for after entering the premium segment of the market, Tesla's plan was to drill down to the lower prices segment and for the mass producing the vehicles. Focusing on the niche market is always a better way to start as it tends to bring clarity in features of the product that need to be offered. Even though there had been delays in getting to market and had various technical glitches and other quality issues, still Tesla managed to muster decent market share from other conventional luxury brands. In automobile industry, OEMs heavily rely on third-party suppliers for parts, systems, and materials. These suppliers take away a big portion of their profits. Tesla, on the other hand, has integrated vertically. Although this integration was purely to improve the quality, yet it also saves Tesla some money as it is predicted by the 2030 year suppliers of new technology and software will capture 11% of profits in automobile sales. In 2008, Tesla launched its Roadster. Up till 2012, Tesla had sold almost 2,500 Roadsters. In 2012, Tesla launched Model S, its flagship luxury sedan, which won the title of Motor Trend Car of the Year in 2013 and also entitled to be the best car ever tested based on Consumer Reports. In 2015, Model X was launched, a mid-sized all-electric luxury crossover. In 2016, Tesla launched its first mass-produced electric car, Model 3. By 2018, Tesla had achieved 37% of the market share of luxury cars segment in the US. So that was from me, and I will move to Mr. Amjad to give his views. Mr. Amjad, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
So, thank you, Rahman. I'll be giving the conclusion to our presentation. So, there is no doubt that Tesla is a disruptor of the automotive industry. The company is reinventing the ways the cars and technology integrate, bringing the customers and the sustainable energy and efficient transportation solution. Considering the current climate situation in the entire world, we need to reduce emission and start contributing to the climate. Then, considering the importance of Tesla innovative technology and impressive popularity of the brand, the company continues to see a huge product and it needs to improve its logistic and supply chain process to start delivering its product as expected. According to Rerouters, Tesla has the lead, but it has to scale up. So this concludes our group presentation. If you have any question, you're welcome to ask now.
Thank you very much, group. We're done with this presentation. Before I give any comments, if you have any questions from the opposition, I'll be more than happy to take those questions first. We only have 5 minutes, so please remember you to answer those questions within time. All right, so Basit, Rahman, and Amjad are going to answer questions. Ariful Islam says, why did you use pestle? So who's going to answer? Presenters, can you hear me? The time is short.
We can hear you.
Can I answer the question?
Go on. If you're a
Yes,
group
sure.
member, please.
See, Vladimir, because we use Porter Diamond on the basis because every government is there are multiple factors. Every government is promoting the electric vehicles policy. So there, we thought that we might see whatever the factors within the industry, we try to compare it, such as the existing market players, the Tesla and the Chinese companies. It's not totally new. That is why it's my part of suggestion that since it's has been a niche product, so we need to compare the existing, as per case study, we had to compare the market share of Tesla with the other competitors, how it's facing and what's the position of the Tesla in compared to other competitors.
Thank you, Hasib. The other question is, and Coab has probably tried to respond as well, saying yes, pestle fits more than SWAT. That's an opinion. Shakir Ali saying, what about the players in the market? How bad did they perform? Shakil, is that the tone of the question that you're asking?
We have used Porter 5 forces in terms of competition, whereas for overall analysis of the market, we used pestle for Tesla.
Okay, we're on to the next question, which is about Shakil's question, other players in the market.
Yeah,
Can
it's not.
Shakil please elaborate the question?
Shakil? Shakil,
Yes,
I think your mic. Yeah, please
yes,
go on.
yes.
Actually, I wanted to ask because as per my understanding, what I have observed from this presentation, that Tesla has performed very well, but it has not been covered that how others has performed. Are we comparing with others as we have compared Porters or Pestel? I didn't see or I didn't even heard about other comments regarding those other pillars in the market, what they were basically doing, and why or how Tesla has performed comparing others.
So, Shakil, basically, we have more focused on Tesla's performance, evaluating its strategical success. Although we have included the luxury car segment data in almost second last slide, that indicates the performance in comparison with the other competitors in the market. But the most relevant to our focus was the Tesla's performance. That's why we have skipped most of the part of the other
Yeah,
players
actually, objective was
market.
about to analyze the industry overall. So I was looking for the what your take on the industry, which includes the
Yeah.
pillars also. And I am sorry
We
for
Okay.
my question tone, Harun San, if you
Yeah.
have noted that it has been appropriate.
we have
Um
talked about the industry using the Pestel 5 forces analysis in the slide number 4.
Okay, can you bring that up and answer the question? Can you bring
If
the
you
slide up and
can
answer?
I add something? If you take into a specific American market, then it's totally dominated by Tesla. There is no competitor near to in any
The
aspects.
EV market.
In the EV market, yeah, your statement is correct. But if you are looking at the overall automotive market, the Tesla still doesn't have the manufacturing capability to compete with that big manufacturers' volumes.
So we have just made the presentation of Tesla in respect of we try to portray Tesla's position in EVs market, not overall traditional overall automobile industry.
Okay, all right. Point taken, point taken. Thank you very much. I love this rivalry. I love this, friction, the questioning, and I can see the the opposition is also beefing up, is muscling up. So excellent. I'm enjoying that. Last question, and then we'll switch on over to the next presentation. We don't want to use another day for these presentations. All right, Mohammed Suleiman Seemab, I think, has been asking some good questions. Suleiman, I'm going to read out. Are aware of all the facts that Tesla, I think you want to say, are you aware of the fact that Tesla had to recall around 500,000 of its vehicles due to security issues in 2021? Has any one of you read that or figured that out?
No, we are not aware of that.
no, we are not aware of that.
Kindly, I am very thankful for him to point it out. And this,
So how do
we
you
have
handle this question if you haven't heard about it? What do you
have
do to
covered it
patch
in
up?
our presentation.
Yeah, it is can be seen as a weakness in Tesla strategies that it went head-on into their production before testing the line. It was outlined in the case study also.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how do you tackle it? The presenters group, if you come across such a situation, how do you handle it? There is no point in making a guess. No guesswork, please. But what can you do best?
Can you repeat the
Thank you.
questions? I couldn't hear completely.
I think the question of the questioner was just inquiring that if we were aware of the fact that Tesla recalled the units.
Okay,
This
don't
has
take very
been
long. Just say this. Thank you very much. We didn't pick that up. We can bring out more information and reflect on that. Okay, that's how you you patch up, you level it up, and don't sort of make another blunder, right? So very important point. And but then good question asked, Suleiman. I'm happy that you'd thrown a very nice googly to the group. So thank you very much. All right, my comments now. Are you all ready for my comments? Yes?
Yes.
No?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
Excellent. I think this group has just upped the game, with their presentation. Excellent presentation, I must say. Full use of infographics. I'm so happy. I could see the impact. Who's made the presentation? Who's formatted? Who's done the artwork, the infographics? The entire group, or
Entire group
uh,
contributed.
excellent, excellent. So that's very, very, very well done, I must say. If you look at the progression from the first group to the presentation now, I think it's a 360-degree turnaround. Excellent, excellent. Your coordination had to be better, right? So what you do is, in real life, you try to do a trial run. I mean, digital is not an easy medium. It's not like you're up on the stage, somebody goes up, makes a presentation, comes down, and then the next one goes. You have to do this rehearsal at least once, okay? And be very, very fluent in the presentation. And how do you achieve that fluency? You stand in front of the mirror and repeat your part a couple of times. You must sound like as if you're telling a story to a little child, right? That's the tone that you have to use. Your presentation was spot on. I mean, it was so professionally delivered. I guess I can I can make a very strong comment that had Tesla seen this, and if you'd uploaded it, you would have won an award in making presentations. So very well done there. um, just a bit of you know you know presenting in a different way. I think um, uh, some of the participants in the opposition raised good points. So for example, the point about a comparison with the rest of the car market, I think that was prominent, it was required, it was there in the learning objectives, should have gotten some space in your slide deck. Time management should have been a little better. Wait. Time management should have been a little better, and coordination should have been a little better. So I think overall, I see an improvement in the quality of the presentation. I see an improvement in the way the content was being presented. Previous groups, the content was stronger. This group, the content could have been better, right? I appreciate you using pestle analysis, not just sticking with the conventional SWOT analysis that allows you to look in multiple directions. So I like that as well. But if it was a 10 minutes presentation, I would have wanted a maximum of about 6 or 7 slides and no more. Yeah, and focused on the three learning objectives that were there. Feroz, can you please unmute Quab? He wants to say something. But overall, before Coab says anything, since I've concluded my comments, a big round of applause for this group as well. Excellent work, and I'm really happy. It's a tough competition. You're making my life difficult in making a decision on who wins. Yes, Coab, you want to say something?
Yes, Harun sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the compliment. And I, being the previous graduate as well, I should have worked more on this, and I have taught everyone as much I as good. But we were working long hours, and every one of us had deadlines at office. And Karya, as a student, she also compromised on her classes. But we will move on, and we will try to do our better from our end,
Excellent,
inshallah.
excellent, excellent. Very well done. I really appreciate that you've humbled out, and you've made this statement. Um, I know life is not easy. I know I have been putting pressure on you. That's exactly how life is like, right? So you have multiple. If you're not meeting multiple objectives, if you're not meeting multiple deadlines, your life is hunky dory, which is never the case, right? So you should be prepared to take on more challenges, more work, more and therefore your aggression or capacity to take on more work should exist, should be there. And that's this little activity, the 6 digits program, is giving you that stretch. It's giving you time for muscling up. Thank you very much to the
Yes,
group.
thank you so
Feroz,
much,
please
and
do the ritual. Thumbs
thank
up to
you
all of
every
you. Excellent.
thank you every member
Excellent.
of
Thank
my
you very
team
much.
as well. Thank you.
Okay. Feroz, please dismiss the group. And the next group was, as I remembered, let me scroll up. After Sikau, it was
Hexacom. It's Hexacom.
Hexacom. All right. So Hexacom members, please raise your hands. We have some hands raised. Yes, the Hexacom members have raised their hands. Feroz, I hope you're adding them all.
Yes. Just a minute.
Okay. And I think they had mentioned that probably Zahra has the presentation.
Yes.
Okay. Let's make it very, very quick. We're looking at the time. I don't want to hold too many people back after the long hours.
Done.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So over to the group.
Assalamu alaikum. Zahra Aziz here. Is my voice clear?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, we are from Hexa Group. Today we are going to present our basically the industry structure, the strategic fit of Tesla according to the industry structure, and our evaluation on the strategy of Tesla regarding entry to the US automotive market. We are 7 members in total, but our group name is Hexacom.
Apologies, Muzammil, sorry, Zahra. Muzammil, can you please go on mute because your mic is causing some disruption. Only unmute yourself when you're speaking. Muzammil Ali. Thank you very much. Yes, Zahra, continue.
Yeah. So our group name is Hexacom, though we are 7. But Hexa is for representing the 6 digit. Hexa means 6, and while Com is basically the commune that representing a group of people integrated and sharing responsibility. So in terms of this assignment in particular to Tesla, we are sharing multiple responsibility, including preparation, gathering material for the presentation, preparing it, getting feedback, and getting it defined and presenting it to you. Our team members include we all are members, alhamdulillah, and that's why we are referring ACCA with our name. 2 of our members are one is from basically Sri Lanka, and that's Dinuki. The other one is Aminat, that's from Maldives, and rest of us are from Pakistan, including Hafiz Ali Bilal, Muhammad Suleiman Simab, Muzammil Ali, and myself, Zahra Aziz, and we all are working as professional. Let's go to the main presentation that would have 3 parts. First is basically the industry structure. The other would be the strategic fit according to the industry structure of US automotive market. And the third one is evaluation of Tesla according to our analysis and our viewpoint. Handing over to Isva for further take-up. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I would like to invite Muzammil to present the first learning objective with me. The first learning objective is the analysis of the industry in a transitioning market.
Please change the slide. We will be using for this quarter 5 forces model, the US auto industry in the midst of transition. So for threat of new entrant is low because it is an industry that requires high amount of capital incentive and labor requirements. So they need to invest a lot of money in for labor, and research and development costs are also very high. And it is now moving from tech-driven and towards the automation industry. As for the threat of the substitute, there is low loyalty among customers, and switching off is the low. Customers have less options to switch between EVs because there are only few models. If you have a Tesla, then people will buy Tesla, and if they have other models, then they will switch towards other models. So now I will hand over to Azia she will continue the presentation from here.
Continuing on,
Hello?
we identified that the bargaining power of suppliers is high, considering that there are multiple tiers of supply chain network. The first tier being suppliers with deep technical capabilities, second tier being suppliers with parts, and third tier being suppliers with raw materials. However, we have identified that during the transition towards the electric vehicles, the industry is currently moving to have less tiers of supply chain network. So we are estimating that it could go lower in the future, but as of the moment, we're saying that it is high. As for bargaining power of buyers, we have also identified that as moderate, as customer loyalty is actually very less due to more options. According to the case study also, it has mentioned that customers are actually switching to other brands when they are switching in their cars after a few years. When it comes to EVs, they have a lack of standardization, so it's actually difficult to switch. So in the future, we are estimating that although it was easier to switch before, in the future it will be more difficult to switch. Coming towards the rivalry among existing competitors, there are Japanese and Korean companies which are currently expanding factories and workforces in the US, and they're gaining a big market share in the US. Along with that, the industry norm currently is to collaborate at horizontal and vertical level, that is with suppliers as well as the competitors. So we have identified that this will result in a moderate rivalry among existing competitors, I mean. So that is our analysis for the US auto industry. I'm handing over to Dinuki for the next slide.
Hello, I hope I am audible to everyone. Zara, could you move to the next slide, please? Yes, so Tesla's strategy was basically to begin as a niche differentiator in its early years and produce an vehicle for basically for the niche market of luxury cars. And it was mainly competing with gas-fueled luxury cars. From that, they were hoping to gain some capital and then move towards a broad differentiation strategy and create an electronic vehicle for the masses. And then they were going to be competing with other EVs that were created by the industry, the manufacturers that had greater market share in the industry. So if we go to, so when they were implementing this strategy, they had some positives and some negatives. So one of the positives, Zara, I think this is, we need to go, yeah, okay. So one of the positives was that they successfully identified that the industry is moving towards electronic vehicles, and then they started creating electronic vehicles. And also, they identified the change in the millennials' purchasing patterns. So millennials, which are going to take up a large majority of the new car purchases, didn't like going to dealerships. And so Tesla moved to a direct-to-customer sales approach, and so only sold their cars through their own stores and their online platforms. Another factor that they took into consideration was the batteries, which the cost was about 33% of the cost of making an electronic vehicle, and so they vertically integrated that, and they have a lower cost of a battery compared to the heads of the industry like General Motors. Okay, but they also had some fallbacks in their strategy. So for example, they use the same brand name for their luxury car and for their mass product car. So the industry norm for example, like Toyota uses a different brand for their luxury cars, which is Lexus, and they use their normal name for their mass-produced cars, whereas Tesla was using Tesla for both luxury and mass market. They also had some initial failures when they were dealing with suppliers in the beginning, and that led them to switch to a vertical integration approach. However, they were not successful in that also, and there were situations where Elon Musk was even sleeping in the factory floor, and production was just not happening according to how they wanted it, according to that quality. That failure in vertical production actually vertical integration led to them not testing the Model 3 before production, and that in turn led to tweaks to the product during the production process. Yes, that is the strategic fit. And now we will go to Suleiman, who will evaluate the strategy, whether they achieve the strategy.
Okay, so Tesla actually what they envisioned was to provide sustainable environment-friendly transport options. So they were right in choosing that strategy, and they tried to execute it, and they did it well. But and they also they're in successful in keeping their core competency in-house by successfully collaborating with the Panasonic on in producing batteries, and they were also responding to the needs of the millennials by making direct sales. However, they should have sorted out the legal issues first before going for direct sales. They were also they were late. They were delayed in their production, but they were able to take advantage of reducing battery prices in 2017 and onwards due to this delay. Although they entered late in the market, but reducing battery prices were something which they were taking advantage of. Next slide, please, Zara. Thank you. But they failed in certain areas as well. For example, while talking to the media, terming the question regarding capital requirement as boring was a big mistake. Because auto is a capital-intensive industry, so capital requirement cannot be ignored while being in the industry. They were also, when Tesla started production and they started the company, there were lack of industry specialists in the board of directors. I mean, none of the board of directors had the industry experience. That's why they initially faced a lot of glitches and delays. They were also producing EVs without any vertical and horizontal collaboration, which was not in line with the industry norms, while industry, on the other hand, was collaborating horizontally and vertically. For example, Mazda and Toyota were collaborating to build a new plant in Alabama, while regarding autonomous driver cars, Uber and Alphabet were also collaborating with Toyota. So there were a lot of collaboration horizontally and vertically was going on in the industry, which Tesla was not taking advantage of. It was doing everything on its own. Tesla, also due to the delays, was unable to take benefit of tax credits. There are two drawbacks that is for the whole EV industry. That is, one is the additional electricity demand due to the electric vehicles, how they are going to deal with the issue, and the stress on the US national grid due to the EVs. I mean, electricity on the one side can be, this demand can be met by using coal and traditional energy sources, which is cheap, but that is not in line with the Tesla's mission. And if they go for the solar energy or other sources of energy, they are quite expensive, and that will not keep their products market competitive. And that is not the question for Tesla only, but for the whole EV industry, electric vehicles. Next slide, please. So overall, our conclusion is that currently, because the industry is facing the transition from traditional vehicles to the EV through horizontal and vertical collaborations, Tesla is not doing that, and Tesla, being a new entrant into the US auto industry, is learning hard lessons from its mistake instead of capitalizing on the industry knowledge and experience of its competitors and industry experts. So the initial strategy that they announced in their master plan, they could not actually execute it as per the plan, and there were failures. And since, according to our evaluation, Tesla was unsuccessful in executing its strategy. Thank you. Any questions? Next slide, Zara. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Questions? Questions. All right, we have a question from Amjad Amir. All right, is the presenter group ready to take questions?
Yes.
Amjad is asking, what is the reason for mentioning failed vertical integration since they were able to deliver on their promised production target?
Yes, they failed because in the case study, their engineer mentioned that 40% of the uh, pro- uh, uh, 40% of the supplies they were receiving from their own plant had to be reworked. So if they had successfully vertically integrated, then they should not have to work on their own supplies again, and it should have not caused the delays. It should have actually saved time.
Okay. Shakil Ali wants to ask a question. Shakil, you are already unmuted. Probably you can go on. Bob, let's not
Thank
read
you,
comments.
Harun.
Leave that. Ask a question
No,
if
no,
you have to.
I'm
Yes, Shakil, go on.
yes. Just wanted to say the beautiful slide they have presented and nice team coordination. I must appreciate. Just wanted to ask a simple question that I could not take away from this presentation. And it was concluded that they were failed to execute their strategy. But this,
Their
don't you
master plan.
think that don't you think that their market capitalization, their financial results are going opposite from this conclusion? How you would justify this?
Okay.
This
If you look at the financials
market
of
share has
Tesla,
yeah.
okay. If you look at the financials of Tesla, they have, until this case study was prepared, and even until now, they have made profit only twice in their 16-year long history. Although they have a lot of market capitalization, but market capitalization needs to be translated into viable products that are making profits, which Tesla isn't able to do until now.
There
And
has
it
been the
actually
comments
concluded
from you.
that master plan
There have
failed.
been the comments from users that the Tesla has leaked. So do you think they have lead or not?
Sorry?
Comments from the
Tesla
Reuters
has?
recently, they lead the market. So
Yes, that
how
comment
this
was in
differ from
2020, but if you read the Reuters report of 2021, December 30, 2021, Tesla had to recall almost half a million of their cars because of safety issues. And most of these were actually Model 3, more than probably 300,000. If exactly it was probably 367,000 something, more than 367,000. So because they didn't went in the trial phase for Model 3 and launched it without trial, so they failed in that. And the report of their leading the industry was in 2020 and their failure was in 2021. So I think so we should rely on the latest report.
Okay, all right. I think that's
Any other
enough.
question?
Thank you very much. Comments from my side. So first comment, I think the presentation was well balanced. Your focus on the learning objectives was better, right? So I can see a clear improvement there. You'd very carefully targeted the three learning outcomes, and your entire presentation was built around that. Um, the first slide was visually very pleasant, but then afterwards you switched to texty slides with all those short bullet points. I mean, not this one, not this one, the infographics. Move on to the next slide. Yes, this one. This was visually very pleasing, and I could very clearly no the sorry the previous slide, the one that you just shown. So yes, this one, stay here. U.S. auto industry in the midst of a major transition. I think very adequately explained. If you were to put all these bullet points in a text, it would have been a very messy slide. But then you've done good justice to the content here. But immediately after this, you switch over to bullet points again, and you're all the shorter bullet points, not full sentences. But I think had the theme may been maintained, the visual effect of the presentation had been maintained, it would have been much pleasing to the eyes to look at the presentation. Otherwise, your format, your template, it's all very good. The ACCA logo should not have been there. ACCA does not allow its logo to be used. Everything else, I think, is spot on. Your understanding of the case, I would once again say you've done justice. You've done very well with your understanding of the case. Yeah, and you've handled the questions also very well. So although only Suleiman Simab responded, I would have expected Diduki and Aminat and Zahra also to speak. Muhammad Bilal and Hafiz Bilal did not speak at all. I wonder why. But I think overall, a good presentation, very well balanced, very focused, which is how it should be. Time management, pay a little more, attention to that. And if you've got time now, think about switching your slides to more infographics. You've seen the presentation by the previous group. I think as far as the composition of the slides is concerned, they've done a better job. But I think you're also not far behind. You've shown that you can do it. Hadn't been probably a bit more time for you to coordinate, you could have done that as well. The graphics are very pleasing. I think you've picked up these graphics from the net, so they're very pleasing and they're very modern. The overall presentation gives a very interesting look. It is not boring at all at any point. So that's my comment. I think the coordination between the group was much better. It's perfectly all right to call out, please change the slide, right? And I know for a fact that GoToWebinar takes a little bit of time in slide switching. So, I think that coordination was amicable and was speculative. So I think that's my feedback. I think very well done. So once again, a huge round of applause for this group as well. Excellent work. And I'm really pleased by your level of knowledge, by your analysis. And that's very important. It's perfectly all right to and I give your own opinion and give arguments to support your opinion. I think your group has done that, and I think again my life is becoming more difficult by every presentation. How will I select the best group and which group moves on? So I think there's going to be a very neck to neck competition between groups. Thank you very much, and
Thank you,
Firoz, I think you can
Arun.
do the ritual. You can dismiss the group, and we'll bring the next. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next group, I think it was there was only one individual left. Is that the case? Yeah. Thank you, Coop. Sayyida Asif. All right. So Sayyida Asif, if you're ready, let's see if you can make a shorter presentation. Sayyida Asif only to maybe to be made panelist, the presenter. And if your presentation is ready, let's very quickly get on with it so that, I mean, we just take 15 minutes. So let's try to wrap it up in the next 15 minutes. Thank you very much for all of you staying back and listening to the presentation. I find it very, very interesting, very knowledgeable, very, so, so I think everyone has brought up a new aspect. It doesn't feel as if I'm listening to the same content again and again. So I think excellent experience, and you've thoroughly dissected the entire case study. Very well done. Excellent. I'm so proud of all of you. Okay, Sayyida Asif, you've got the baton.
Assalamualaikum, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, let me skip this. Okay. Can you see my presentation? Okay, first of all, I want to say I missed the first class on Monday and I wasn't aware of the original objectives. So I made my own objectives, but I did sort of the analysis that everyone did. So I hope that you'd count my marks for that. So basically, we were only 2 members left in our group. Daniel, he's on his way to home, and me, Sayyida Hanur Asif. And I'm going to present my analysis on Tesla. Okay, so we have prepared an analysis on Tesla. It is an American-based company whose CEO is Elon Musk, and it deals in electric vehicles and solar energy. So the objective of my analysis was to assess the strategies adopted by Tesla in overcoming the challenges prevailing in auto industry of US. It is based on a study conducted. It is conducted by Donald Sull and Kate Reeves. There's a disclaimer that due to limited information, this analysis is solely based on business environment. I could not gather data on the financial side. So I've used following framework. I've used PEST model to assess the factors prevailing in macro environment, all the negative and positive factors, and then to assess the micro environment and internal environment of Tesla, I've used the SWOT analysis. And then we have identified basically the matching and converging techniques. How successful was Tesla in converting its negative factors into positive factors, and how successful was Tesla to exploit its opportunities using its strategies. Okay, so the results of PEST analysis. There are some political factors like there were government subsidies available for adoption of EV electric vehicles. The subsidies were available for both manufacturers and the consumers. There was a barrier to exit plan to other existing companies due to the political influence on saving jobs. We've already discussed that exit plan for every business is very important. So there was a major threat to other organizations. Moving on to the economic factors, there were threats of cost of batteries, associated cost of failing tests, related injuries and time delays, and then the lacking infrastructure of charging stations, and a potential of pressure on existing power supply if considering the switch of people towards electric vehicles instead of ICE. There were social and environmental factors who were mostly in favor of Tesla. For example, brand loyalty was limited. People were more diverted towards new fuel standards and less fuel-saving technology. And there was a drift in customer psyche overall. The millennials were more interested in having a research or buying products online. They were avoiding any type of contact with the car dealers. They were more interested in purchasing cars online, and they were demanding many features like connectivity to phone, Wi-Fi, GPS, these kind of features. And there was a trend of preferring mobility over ownership. They were preferring to use other apps who can assess them to move from one place to another instead of owning their own car. Sorry, let me hide it. Okay. And then there were technological factors like EV. The electric vehicles were more cost effective in terms of they had lesser parts and lesser gears. There was less cost associated for servicing and repairing of those cars in contrast to the ICE, internal combustion engines. And then there was an overall technological shift in market as technological advanced companies were interested in developing applications for vehicles and cars, and the organization started hiring more software engineers instead of hardware related HR. The major issue or major barrier, another exit plan barrier organizations were facing was that their factories were specialized and they could not be redeployed to other use. So yeah, for the macro environment, those were the factors that were affecting the factors affecting the macro environment of auto industry of the US. SWOT analysis. I'm sorry, my presentation has very less infographics. So Tesla was in very initial stages of its company. It was able to achieve vertical integration, in-house production of its own components, its batteries, assembly of its own cars. Its car seats were being produced in-house as a result of customers' complaints and refunds. And then there is an automated production line, and then their own supercharging stations, and they have a feature of auto updating their vehicles over Wi-Fi, which is a response to technological investment required by the customers. So I've only pointed out the factors for you. Opportunities, we have seen that there is a decline in birds and lions share as a result of some legal issues. So there is a room for electric scooters and bikes for like Uber services. There's a gap in US market. There was a gap for luxury electric vehicles that we're going to identify later, that how Tesla was able to identify and exploit the gap. There are some weaknesses, like the CEO has its own board. Major of the board members are its own relatives or somewhat his own friends or whoever. So there is less accountability. There had been continuous loss for years, and we have seen that he has set over-optimistic targets, and there were defects in planning when he was launching his Model 3, when there was mass production based on the automated production line. There are threats like no access to conventional. Tesla was not present in the market before, and he did not have access to dealers and conventional delivery channels. The car dealers were already retaliating against EV suppliers, and they were discouraging customers to purchase EV. There were other requirements like capital requirements. For example, billions of dollars required to establish the factories, to build the factories and the cars, creating new car models. The main target market segment that Tesla wanted to hit was electric vehicles, SUVs. GM Motors also tried to hit the same segment, so there was a major threat from competitor. Then there is a bargaining power suppliers. Conventionally, all the major components were being supplied by the automobiles components production companies. So they had a huge share in profit, and they were majorly leading the market and had major bargaining power. So now we're going to see that how Tesla was able to convert its opportunities or exploit its opportunities using its strengths, and how it's able to convert its negatives into positives. Tesla entered into the market where there were already available government subsidies in electric vehicle market. It could avail the subsidies for manufacturing of the cars, and then its consumers are encouraged to buy the cars. Due to limited brand loyalty, it had less hindrance to enter into the market with providing new features and assessing that customers are more interested in more technological advanced car instead of a brand. It could gain a better market share. There is already a diversion to fuel saving tech, and Tesla was able to exploit that. Tesla were able to exploit the changes in customer psyche, all that the interest in tech, the interest in connectivity, and it ensured that it enabled all the features in its cars. And it identified the gap in luxury electric vehicle and introduced Roadster at a very right time, and there was no luxury electric vehicle, and had a greater market share of its own. For the weaker points, the threats or weaknesses. Tesla had major automated production line instead of hiring HR. So there would be a less political influence over saving the jobs. And if you want to exit the market, and if we want to consider Tesla from an exit plan, it definitely has less barriers from political influence. And then again, the redeployment of resources is better available for Tesla, since it's creating its own components. It's also working in energy, clean energy supplies like solar energy and something. All these things are giving a room to better exit plan. Tesla has more control over its costs other than its competitors, and similarly have more control over the bargaining power of the suppliers. And with its own charging stations and its own, it is also working on solar panels for its car, so there would be less pressure on the existing power suppliers. It has also reduced the threat of reduced customer outreach by creating its own retail stores, and it has beaten GM Motors in launching its electric SUV before it, and also was a pioneer in launching its self-driving cars. So in my conclusions and recommendations, there are still some areas that Tesla need to have focus on. Like we have read in the study that future of self-driving cars is uncertain. We don't know how the legal issue is going to handle it. Though Tesla has already stepped in the market, but we haven't studied how the consumers are going to react to or how comfortable are they to self-driving cars, or how there's affordability going to come, and how profitable the industry is going to be. We have already discussed that there is an opportunity with the decline in birds and lions share. So I think that Tesla could work on the area to gain that market share from birds and lions decline, and they should work on accountability of CEO. They should work on. I haven't worked on the financials yet, but yes, they should work on how they have been facing loss for all those years and how they can work on, instead of growth, since it's very evident from the study that they are more interested in growing their company instead of and more interested in future potential profits instead of current profits. So yeah, and they may need to review their business model considering the experience they had in developing the Model 3 automated production line. There had been delays, there had been associated costs, so they might need to review their business model. In my conclusion, I like to say that yes, Tesla was able to identify and exploit its major opportunities and overcome its threats but there are still, it really needs to focus on its internal weaknesses that are mostly ignored, as identified above. And my results could be different if I had financial insight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sayyida Asif. Good presentation overall. Let me see if there are any questions. Yes, the opposition. All right, Cobb has called you the lone warrior. All right, okay. Any questions for Sayyida Asif? No, everybody I think is dead tired.
Or everybody
Asif,
considered that I was alone in giving my presentation with no partners.
Okay, industry analysis is missing. Ghulam Fareed's comment. Would you want to comment on that, Sayyida Asif?
I think my pest analysis was covering the industry analysis. It was covering all the, this macro environment is basically the industry analysis. It is.
Rightly so. Okay. Any other questions? I think Sayyida Asif has herself mentioned that she hasn't done enough financial analysis. That's okay, as long as your opinion about what you presented is, based on
But
arguments.
I would really like to listen to your
Back it.
comments, Harun sir.
I will present. I will share my comments with you.
I think Shakil has raised their hands. I think they want to ask questions.
Go on. All right. But before that, if you can have Zahra's question as well. So Zahra is asking, as you said in conclusion, they overcame threat. But how? Threats are from future. Yeah.
I worked on the, so my analysis was based on the study, the existing study, not on the future potential threats. So I identified the threats lying in the industry and its in its microenvironment already, and how successful Tesla in adopting the right strategies to fight those threats. My analysis was based on that. So for at some point there would be threats for it, and it was able to successfully mitigate those.
Okay. Sajjad Sheikh is saying the actual objectives were available in the email, so why did she not address them all? I think more or less she's addressed them. Hardly anything left behind. But since she was a lone warrior, we'll give her the credit for, doing this between Danial and
Message
herself.
Feroz in the start, and I, when the objectives were displayed on the screen, I told him that I did not read the objectives and I did not prepare my presentation on that. So he said it's okay. So I said maybe I should give it a try, and then maybe on next presentation, or I might.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. Ariful Islam wants to ask a question, and who else wanted to ask? Feroz? Ariful Islam,
Shakil and Ariful Islam is on self-mute. He can unmute himself. Go ahead.
Okay, let's hear from Ariful Islam first, and then from Shakil Ali. Okay? Yes, Arif.
Hi, I have got one just very short and specific question. You said automatic production line at Tesla will lead to less political influence. Could you please elaborate how that would be? Feasible, because obviously having robotics instead of human is much more expensive. So replacing a robot in this very sophisticated industry would definitely entail a lot of fixed cost. Then how would actually, I understand that there is an issue of political pressure, but exit strategy would be more difficult, isn't it?
So I was just matching the major political influence faced by the companies in the time of recession, especially. And from the perspective of investors, it is very important that we consider on the exit plan. So the politicians were focused on securing the jobs, and the companies could shut down their factories. They had to retain the jobs somehow. For Elon, there might be some room that since his production line is based on robots instead of HR, human resource, so he might be less affected by this political influence. So yes, that's my
I mean,
perspective.
did you understand? I mean, my key consideration was understanding the investment versus the redundancy. I think that was the point of consideration. You might should have.
I think Daniel has joined in as well. So Daniel, if you want to say something.
Yeah, sorry for the delay first, and I would like to answer him that financial and investment was never the issue for Elon Musk. And the reason why we referring here is that the more people are employed under our umbrella, the more political politics and government is interested in our organization. But if we are in an automated system and less people are in our company or in our factory, so the health and safety issues, although morally and ethically they are important, but they are not so influential or important for government if we are employed less people, and if we are planning to exit from industry, so that means that there will be less unemployment for the country as a whole. I hope that answers this question. Hello.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Thank you
I
very much.
again
Shakil, you
challenge
want to ask
your.
a
I
question
again challenge your
very
answer.
quickly?
I can challenge your answer because at the first point, I mean, yes, I mean, you did not even employ anybody as a company, then obviously there won't be any redundancy cost, isn't it? So if you think into that perspective, then ethically it is wrong to replace human with robots, right? So I mean, initially they are not giving anything to the society in terms of job creation. They have
I
automated
agree
the
with you, Arif.
whole production line. So I mean, obviously,
I
that
agree
was
with you.
basically
I'm
a
more inclined
concern.
towards securing people's job instead of hiring robots.
Yeah, they're not even hiring. Then obviously they won't say about firing.
Getting
That's all
It's
machines to
not
employ
like
exactly.
machines.
there are zero employment. It's not like that. Elon Musk never hired anyone. It is
Yeah,
also evident that 40%, as in last presentation, someone highlighted also, the
now the only
40%
reason
was
I have
actually
noted
rework.
this, the only reason I noted this because Said Asif always talks about philanthropic areas, value addition to the society, and I really get inspired by those things. So I just,
And
showed one of the points you might be interested about.
I was just
That's all.
present a business case sort of thing, but I agree with you. I'm totally on
There are
your
many
side.
ways to give
Yeah, thank
society,
you.
not just the employment or less employment doesn't mean that we are not giving anything to society. But of course, you can
Okay, all right.
disagree with
I
us.
think
That's
point
your
gotten,
point.
point taken, point. All right. Let's hear from Shakil, and that's really the last question. Shakil, will you want to say something? Shakil Ali wanted to ask a question.
No, he said he raised his hand by mistake. He doesn't have any question.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think that's it then. My thoughts about this presentation. I think very good effort, considering there were only two individuals who presented it, who made it. I did not feel for once had Saida Asif not pointed out that she did not look at the learning objectives at all. I would not have guessed. I mean, the presentation coincidentally was exactly talking about those areas. So I think It was very well there. I am glad that you haven't also. I mean, your style of presentation, the content, the way it has been presented is not boring. It's not texty. It's not very bullet point like. You've used figures where possible, but you should try to. You yourself said you should try to convert those into infographics. So graphics that give out more information. That is what you want to. You've used those little thumbnails with every point. That looks a little childish, but I mean, in a formal professional
Decided those in
presentation,
last minute
I
when you were commenting on presentation of others that they were less infographics. I read them immediately. So yeah, I know that the infographics are
no,
present. I read that.
infographics are. I mean, they give out information about the case at hand. Okay, so these little graphics, they are a little childish. So in a professional presentation, I would have been perfectly all right had I not seen those little graphics. But the content was there. I'm glad that you used two analysis. You didn't just rely on one of them. I mean, not just best. You also used SWOT. The presentation of the SWOT analysis instead of just you done it in a quadrant. So I think that was a good way of presenting as well. It automatically captured attention. Because you were one individual, your flow was very homogeneous. So your flow of the presentation was perfectly all right. You had a map of the presentation in your mind, and therefore I could see better fluency. I am not sure how it would have happened had Daniel also presented. So I think that is one thing that you need to probably, when you're doing a presentation together, need to focus on. And Saida asked if I would want to see a little bit more fluency in your presentation. So I am sure that there was a lot of time challenge in this, and so if it's a little bit more, I would say your fluency is better than the rest. But when you're making this presentation in front of, let's suppose, a big audience, they would probably not want to hear pauses and hums and ahs too much. I think when you hear these sounds, for example, I am also right now using ums and ahs, but that's because I'm thinking and speaking. Um, if you've rehearsed the presentation well, it automatically flows. Okay, so that flow should be very natural. Content wise, I would say yes, you've read the case very well. You need to, your depth of the case needs to be stronger. um, you've picked out in a few points. For example, I mean, I was glad to see accountability of the chief executive. I think that's a good point that you've made, which means you've applied your judgment, your analysis, analyzed the strategy, came up with ideas about what Tesla should do. So I think overall, a very good effort, very very good effort. Um, Kudos to all of you. Thank you very much, Saida, Asif. Thank you very much, Daniel. Again, a big round of applause for the group. I didn't know your group name, by the way, so whatever your group name is, please let Feroz know. Now, overall comments about all the presentations. I'm very, very pleased with the effort that all of you have put in. I think marvelous effort. Um, in my opinion, this effort is going to come in really, really handy in your professional lives also. If you're able to get directly to what the substance of the discussion is, and if you're able to apply your judgment very well, if you're able to apply your knowledge which sits up there, taking I mean which sits up there very nicely, I think if you apply it very well, you will probably be able to make excellent judgment. Always try to use a storyline. So if you're let's suppose making a point, imagine what arguments you may receive, or what questions you may, or what comments you may receive from the audience. Be prepared with the answers, right? So this is called a mind mapping. So you present an argument. Imagine somebody will agree with it, somebody will disagree with it, somebody was going to refute it, somebody is going to say this is a complete lie. Have answers to all possible questions in mind, so that you can steer the conversation appropriately exactly as you would want. Not every question needs to be answered. Okay, some questions can very cleverly and easily be deflected. Okay, you don't need to answer each and every question, right? Stick to your guns, stick to what you have prepared well. I mean, steer the conversation in that direction. I have seen that happening today. And because of the rivalry between groups, because of the friction, and I could see, you know, the opposition latching on, and the presenters trying to, you know, block the questions. That was fantastic. That was really, really, you know, good learning for all of you, I'm sure. So excellent skill imparted, I think. I really enjoyed the content, and already while we were doing these presentations, I got a lot of calls from my colleagues. I was told that there are other organizations, for example, um, Telenor's microfinance bank. Their chief executive has given a case study on Tesla to the entire organization, and they're going through it as we speak. Yeah, and they are using the Harvard's content. We are using the MIT's content. So why not have a competition as a group? Have a competition with Telenor Microfinance Bank. You know, afterwards. I think if that is what you want to take on as a challenge, I think that would be fantastic. I'm sure my team is very well prepared. I can tell you, very, very well prepared, and a bit of, you know, sort of mixing up of efforts from one side, and looking deep into financials. You know, clearly dissecting the strategy, and looking at what did Tesla miss as a result of their strategy, and what was their gain as a result of their strategy. I think that is commendable. So thank you very much. I really, really enjoyed this session. This session went on for 3 hours. 3 hours, and I didn't budge from this seat. I was so glued on, and I was so happy and excited listening to this conversation, listening to the comments. I hope all of you also enjoyed the conversation as much. I think it's time for rewards. I am going to announce the results very soon. It's not easy. I'm sure I'm going to sleep over the results, you know, for at least a night, and then, you know, probably Monday we will come back to you with the results. But in my opinion, everybody is a winner. Everybody should be relieved, should be happy, motivated, that they've done a fantastic job. They've done justice to the task that was assigned to you. So thank you very much. Feroz, thanks to you as well. You've made the Feroz is a less spoken individual. I'm going to encourage him to. He's an excellent presenter, by the way. Last time around, he was the one who made the best presentation. So Feroz, I'm going to talk to you about your comments as well about all these presentations. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend.
On
Celebrate
the way.
your weekend. Yes, Feroz, you want to say something?
I have shared my assessment about the
Okay, so
presentations with you. A detailed assessment.
all right, okay. We will discuss. We will discuss. All right. Hold your horses. So enjoy and celebrate with your group members. I mean, digitally. I'm sure our friends sitting in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, they will probably not want to be missed out, but enjoy it together. Okay. And have a very good weekend. Okay. See you most probably in session on Monday. Our plan for Monday and the sessions after that is 16 hours for tax content from Pakistan. Starting 15th February, we're bringing in content on Sri Lankan tax, and then there's going to be content on Bangladesh tax as well. So 16 hours each. I think Sri Lanka and Bangladesh might take a little less time because their tax structure is a little more simpler than Pakistan's. But you know, we will nevertheless, we're going to discuss each and every one, you know, each and every tax content. um, I am trying very hard to book everything, to set everything right for Monday, but keep glued on to your WhatsApp groups. We will share the final details of the tax session on Monday with you. The schedule is that we are only going to have 2 sessions every week. Okay. First of all, we will merge both the groups, future members and members. and then we're going to have a session on Mondays, and then the second session on Wednesdays, and then your takeaways or tasks, for the unmoderated sessions, and that they're going to happen as usual for members on Friday and for future members on Saturday. So that's how it is going to be. It is going to be workshop style. I'm discussing this with the trainer right now, with our member, and it's going to be a lot of focus on, once again, just like in this case study, I mean, it's a lot of focus on using your judgment, not just rote learning the tax the tax sections and tax clauses. So it is going to be workshop style, and that will ensure maximum learning. Thank you very much once again. Thank you. Really enjoyed the session. I am definitely going to have a very nice weekend. Still have the taste of this, this stiff competition in my mouth. Thank you very much, and enjoy yourselves as well. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye. हाँ जी.
जी सर, आप हैं?